suddenly I thought, the experience of Baba's love is so constant here. And Mehera made it real easy. Because there was the answer to my prayer. Here was the person who could help me live a life that he would be happy with. And I adored her. I just, you know, couldn't be away from her. I'll tell you, to be very honest, for 15 years I drove a scooter to Meherazad. And by Baba's grace, I didn't have accidents. Mehera would always tell me, the minute you feel unsteady on the road, a car is coming, go off on the soft shoulder. Just go off on the soft shoulder. I spent half my life on the soft shoulder. And she saved my life, I'm sure, because, you know, there were some bad things that can happen on that road. She was so concerned about that, wear your helmet and all these things. Half the days I left Meherazad, I was in tears. I always thought of myself as a relatively strong person, but I couldn't leave Meherazad without bawling. And there were 2 times I had to get off my scooter, I was crying so hard. And that's not normal. That's not normal. That's not, I'd say, Kacy, this is not adult behavior. There's something really wrong here. But I would miss her so terribly the minute I would leave. And she would know that. She would sometimes even walk out to me when I would get on my scooter. She even put my little helmet on one time, just to make me feel close, you know, I'll go with you, I'll go home with you. And then she'd let me do things, marvelous things, like she taught me how to make curls of Baba's hair. It was a wonderful experience, because you got the flavor of the one they used to make, you know what they used to make for Baba, not for Baba, but with Baba's hair and with his nails. They would sit in the East Room in the early days, and they would, I'm sure you have one, they would make brooches. They would make in the shape of a bunny, a piece of cardboard, and then they would cover it with white wool, and then they would take Baba's hair and dampen it and train it to go around the outside of the bunny for hours. You know, and they were saying this sort of divine, quiet time that they would have Mehera, Mani, Naja, all of them, Portia, Baba's nails. They would soak his nails and then run a needle through the nail and then be able to sew it onto something. Mani made this beautiful B-A-B-A necklace with pearls and then Baba's nails on it, and then his hair all around a necklace for Mehera that she would wear, and little bunny brooches and brooches for the hair, and all kinds of lovely things like that. And when Mehera then was showing me what it was like to just simply make a curl out of Baba's hair so she could give it to somebody, because she didn't have time to do this anymore, it was like, you know, you just got that whole experience of what it was like for them in those days, that quiet, beautiful, divine energy going around, you know, just working with his things to give to Adele and Phyllis and all, and Virginia, to send these people to the people in the West, especially, or to pass back and forth with one another. But so, you know, she would share. You know, you were in the atmosphere, and she would. I was very lucky. You know, I was very, very lucky. She would share the atmosphere of what that was like for them. And she would even trust me to the point where she'd say, "No, I need 15 curls soon." You know. So at one point I said, you know, Mehera, I might be able to get some done if I take it home with me. And she trusted me to do that on the scooter, you know, and I was in my backpack. You know, Baba's hair in my backpack. Drive carefully like that and take it home and work on it. And, you know, clean the table, put out a white cloth, no wind or anything, and just get lost working on those things. That was wonderful. That was really wonderful.
How many years you been by Baba? How many years you stayed there after that?
Well, for 15 years I took a scooter day in and day, every day I went there and left for 15 years. Those 10 years with Mehera, doing a lot of work for her, and then working with Mani, and then finally they built that new staff. They knew I was serious. After 15 years, they knew they knew I liked being there. They built a staff quarters, and then they said Devana and I would be living there, which was great. That was great. I felt, and Mani was so cute. She said, "You've done your time." She said, "You've done your time. You can come here now." So like, you paid your debts or whatever they wanted. That was great. But one thing about Baba's curls, anyhow. Yeah. But she would also, then she was cute. When I would work on the curls at night and bring them back the next morning to Meherazad, you know, it's like this is her life. It's not, I'm just like ecstatic over 1 or 2 curls of Baba's hair. She's been doing this her whole life long. It's like her life. It's natural for her to do these things. So I'd give them to her and she'd go, "Yes, these will come useful, thank you." I love the way she phrased it. These will come useful.
When you first went there, did you go as a guest when you go to Meherazad every day, or
first one, those first 4 months, oh, I was going to stay 10 days, and I stayed for 4 months that first time. I was a pilgrim those first 4 months. I was definitely a pilgrim. They had to peel me off the wall of Monthly Hall on the 15th of March. You know, I was really sick. I didn't want to go. But then I went straight away and got my entry visa and came back. And then at that point, I was a resident, and you're a resident real fast, and you are now, as they say, part of the furniture, and that's it. You know, and there's preferential treatment. No. If you're there, if you're present, if you're serving, they interact with you, that's why you're there. And the more you can serve and the more opportunity you have to be with them, that's great. You're working for them, but that's why you're there. They're not going to say, come on over and be with us. If you're there and it happens, that's great. You know, but right away, there's a wonderful thing that Baba said to Mehera, that Mehera would always tell us, that when she first went to live in Meherabad with Baba, and Baba said this to her when she first went there. It's a little phrase that Indian children learn when they're going to a new school or something like that. And he said, yeah, he said, it's the same thing. He says, you go to a new school, you come to live in the ashram, go to a new school, first 4 or 5 days, very nice, everything is new, you're getting to know everybody, you're settling in. 5th or 6th day, the teacher tweaks you by the ear. By the 9th or 10th day, they're peeling your skin off. Yeah.
Speaking of Baba's room, I just recently read that the room upstairs used to be his bedrooms. And I hadn't known that, and I wondered what it is now. And
well, see, when they first built, because Mehera designed the house. When they were first there was a small little building, and they liked the floor plan sort of, but then she and Meheru designed the house, but it was Mehera's design. And they had it built, and originally Mehera felt that Baba should live upstairs. There are two big rooms upstairs. The one on the west side was his room, the second room. And biggest reason was that he had to have a man with him in the night, and the women were living down, Mehera and Mani and the women were living right there. The women were living in Baba's room. Meheru, Naja, and Goher were living in Baba's room, what is now Baba's room. And so when they designed it, Baba was to live upstairs, and of course from the 40s when he went to live there, he could run up those stairs. But then after the second accident, he himself said, I don't want to come live downstairs because I have to have a man in the room in the night, and Mehera's room is here, and how can I do this? You know, I wanted to keep the women all separate. So for a year, he negotiated those stairs for that broken hip. And they said he even went so far as to, he would tie a pillow to his bottom and scoot down the stairs. And I think something happened once, he tripped once, and it just was so excruciating, and they're just, they've been, you know, since the accident they were saying, please come live on the ground floor, we'll make a space for you down there. Because previously he had lived in that room. They had vacated that room for a short while in '57 for some reason. He was sick and he couldn't go, something. So there was already a hint that he lived in that room. So finally he said, okay, I'll do that. So one morning he came down the stairs. Mehera and Goher would go up the stairs and greet him. When the watchman would leave, then Mehera and Goher would go up and greet him and help him down the stairs. But then he said, okay, so he went to Mandalay Hall in his lift chair, and they raced, emptied. Meheru went to where her room is, Naja went to the other room, Goher went and put her bed outside Baba's room, and left a lot of the things in the room that were there. So the calendar, some of the things, that calendar of Jesus and Peter, that was a calendar, and that was Goher's, and that was in their time, and that's still there. There's a picture of some flower pictures, those were left in there. And Baba went to the hall and came back, but then they just took their things out, brought his stuff down, and then he said, okay.
And so what's with the rooms upstairs?
His bed from Guru Prasad is in there, and a lot of treasures, and not necessarily archival things, but very precious things from Mehera's time, or pictures of Baba that people have painted, that they alternate the pictures in the house and stuff like that. So those are, Mehera takes care, she takes beautiful care of that. She stores everything really well, and curtains for the house, extra curtains, extra carpets for Baba's room, you know, stuff like that too. But it's all for the house, it's all for Baba.